Tonight on CTV News at 6, the Prime Minister says Albertans didn't vote for a separation referendum.
That is a very dangerous bluff.
Worry for Alberta businesses as a new poll reveals stronger support to remain in Canada than to leave.
The biggest thing I'm hearing is that this is a waste of time and it creates instability.
Edmonton police say the circumstances around a toddler's death are suspicious. And a push to preserve the aging high-level bridge as the cost to keep it climbs.
It is the bridge that helped physically and symbolically unite Edmonton and Strathcona into a single city in 1912.
Nice warm temperatures all week, but also a chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms every single day this week.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Some local businesses are concerned about how Alberta potentially leaving Canada could impact Edmonton's economy. They point to other referendums and exits that have not aged well and hope Alberta does not follow suit. Evan Kenny reports.
The Alberta separation push has been good for at least one local business. O Canada Gear says its sales are up.
Of course, there's Canada, and now there's been an influx of Alberta.
The movement is causing a surge at this store, but a scare for others.
The biggest thing I'm hearing is that this is a waste of time and it creates instability.
Mayor Andrew Knack says he's heard from a number of large and small-scale businesses. He says they are concerned about Edmonton's landscape if Alberta does separate from Canada.
It's no surprise to me that I've been already hearing from people who are questioning whether they should continue to invest in Alberta and specifically Edmonton.
A former Alberta economist now working in Montreal believes these businesses have reason to be concerned.
I've never really seen a successful exit or referendum that somehow makes businesses thrive afterward or the economy thrives afterward.
He points to Quebec's recession after its separation referendum in the 90s. He compares the long-term impact to a cruise ship changing course. In the short term, the impact may not be noticeable.
And by the time that you realize that, hey, something's not right here, it might be impossible to go back, much in the same way that once you start turning that cruise ship, it's kind of hard to put it back on the original trajectory.
Prime Minister Mark Carney also weighed in on the matter, pointing to his experience with Brexit.
I saw firsthand what happened in the United Kingdom when the view was vote for this, it'll be soft, and then we'll negotiate, etc. And they ended up, and they're still 10 years later trying to undo what people didn't think they were voting for.
Premier Danielle Smith says she agrees with the Prime Minister Alberta should remain in Canada, but adds that we should not dismiss the legitimate grievances of Albertans. Back at O Canada Gear, it's not looking too far into the future and is happy with the additional sales it's getting for now.
Show your pride in something, get out there and support Canada, support Alberta.
Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Prime Minister didn't hold back today when speaking about the referendum. Other leaders and politicians also weighed in. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more.
That is a very dangerous bluff.
A stark 6-word warning from Prime Minister Mark Carney for Alberta Premier Danielle Smith.
In these separation issues, it is often advanced that vote for this and it's a free option. Vote for this and we will strengthen our hand in a future negotiation. That is a very dangerous bluff.
Unprompted today, the Prime Minister drew on his experience as the Governor of the Bank of England during the Brexit crisis. Carney's words of caution about understanding the risk of using this referendum as a bargaining chip was met with pushback from Premier Smith, who has called it an exercise in democracy.
I'm just trying to get a gauge of where Albertans are at. I think that that's respectful of the process that 700,000 people went through in signing their petitions.
That sentiment echoed by the separatist Bloc Québécois.
It's still up to Albertans to decide, and definitely not to another government to decide on what if the question should have been asked in the first place.
Conservatives said Carney's comments do nothing to address Albertans' concerns.
He has no right to wag his finger. That makes it worse.
As her province contemplates whether to vote to remain or pursue a path towards independence, Smith also said today she'll keep working with Carney towards a stronger Alberta within a united Canada. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
A new Angus Reid poll shows 51% of Albertans surveyed find the referendum question confusing. The same survey found 61% of participants would vote to stay in Canada. 36% would vote to start the process of another separation referendum. The premiers of Alberta and BC say they are prepared to work together despite differences on pipelines and Alberta's referendum. Premiers from Western Canada and the Northern Territories are meeting in Kananaskis. Danielle Smith has accused David Eby of stoking separatist sentiments by holding up pipelines. Eby has said he fundamentally disagrees with Premier Smith's approach to the issue. These meetings are supposed to be about the economy, energy security, defense, and nation-building projects. Today, both said they will work on furthering the interests of Western Canada.
I think that there just needs to be self-reflection. You don't end up with a situation where 1 million or more Albertans have given up on the country overnight.
We all are united in a larger project, and we don't always get our way. I understand that. It doesn't mean that now is the time to break up the country.
The city is moving forward with a plan to demolish and replace two of Edmonton's oldest downtown bridges, the low-level and high-level. City staff say renewing the high-level bridge will be too expensive. As Jeremy Thompson reports, some councillors believe it's worth protecting.
I'm here in a state of shock.
To some Edmontonians, talk of demolishing the 113-year-old high-level bridge is unfathomable.
It is the bridge that helped physically and symbolically unite Edmonton and Strathcona into a single city in 1912.
Council has known the designated historic resource was due for an expensive facelift for years. It set aside $200 million for the work in 2022. Since then, engineers have determined it's in worse condition than expected.
$380 million. Potentially plus 50%, and that pretty much would just let you keep it as is without any type of modernization.
Staff say the historic low-level bridge is also at the end of its life. The northbound bridge was built in 1900. The southbound span was built in 1949. The plan will see a replacement low-level built, the newer span demolished, while the historic northbound bridge is converted for walking and cycling use. Administration says the old bridges will stay open while their replacements are built over the next 10 to 15 years.
I don't know where to begin.
Councillor Michael Jans believes there has to be another way, at least for the high level. He argues a pedestrian-focused vision could entice heritage or climate-friendly funding from the province or Ottawa.
Can you picture San Francisco without the Golden Gate Bridge? Can you picture Edmonton without the high-level bridge?
Staff say rehab can only go so far.
It will only buy us a period of time. After 25 years, renewal would be again required, and would we be able to complete that renewal? We don't know.
The mayor is choosing to look forward at the opportunity new bridges bring.
Any north-south connection has to have vehicle traffic, it has to have dedicated bus rapid transit, it has to have active transportation.
City planners now have the green light to begin planning and design work for the new bridges they estimate will cost $1.3 billion. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton police are investigating the death of a 3-year-old girl. EPS says officers were called Saturday night to help paramedics at an apartment near 91st Street and Jasper Avenue. Police say they were told a toddler was found dead inside a suite. Police say the circumstances surrounding the death are suspicious. The homicide unit has taken over the investigation. Morinville RCMP have charged a man from Edmonton with child luring and sexual interference after receiving a complaint involving a 15-year-old. Police say last fall, 34-year-old Jaswindra Nath allegedly used Snapchat to lure the teen. Police are releasing his picture because they believe there may be more victims. Police say Nath used aliases Yegnut, Yegnutten, and often goes by the name Jash. RCMP are asking anyone with information about potential victims to come forward. Travelers heading to the Edmonton International Airport can expect delays as construction begins on the airport's North Tower. The airport is encouraging passengers to arrive early, use the South Pedway when possible, and follow posted signage around the terminal. The project includes upgrades to elevators, interior spaces, and other infrastructures inside the 63,000 square foot tower. The North Tower first opened in 1963. It previously housed the airport's corporate offices and air traffic control tower. The airport says the redevelopment is part of long-term planning for future passenger and business growth in Edmonton. Alberta-born astronaut Josh Kutrick is sharing details about his upcoming trip to space. Speaking at the University of Calgary, Kutrick said he'll leave Earth in September for the International Space Station. He'll live and work on the ISS for 6 months. He says this will be a unique mission because of all the science he'll have the chance to do. Many of those experiments are coming from the U of C. Kutrick says it's an honor to represent Canada in the space program.
Feels very humbling, makes you feel very, very lucky, very grateful. A lot of Canadian pride, I would say, as well, to see that Canada is one of still very few countries in the world that does it, that is invited to participate in long-duration missions like this to outer space.
Kutrick says from now until September, he'll be spending a lot of time at SpaceX in Los Angeles, learning about the vehicle that will take him to and from space. This week, some of Canada's best and brightest teenagers are at the Edmonton Expo for the Canada-wide Science Fair. Grades 7 to 12 students from across Canada will be judged this week in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics fields. There are 9 challenge areas, including aerospace, agriculture, climate change, and environment. One student from Ontario is trying to find microplastics in bodies of water.
It then uses the holographic imaging to capture a number of 3D images of the microparticles that exist in the water itself. Those images are then analyzed by a custom algorithm and AI detection architecture.
These students are not limited by, oh, we've done this all before or whatever. They don't have those filters. They look at it with very fresh eyes and often bring really novel insights.
The Science Fair is open to the public Thursday and Friday this week. WWE is bringing its summer tour to Edmonton. Tour is coming to Rogers Place August 22nd. It will feature star wrestlers including Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, and Jade Cargill. Tickets go on sale this Friday. Well, from sneezing to runny noses and itchy eyes, allergy season is well underway. A late start to spring means we're now in the thick of trees, grasses, and plants all blooming at the same time. Some people with seasonal allergies say this year seems worse. Nariman Issa reports.
I've got spring allergies, and when the pollen is floating around like this, it's not great.
For Maddie Fontaine, a trip to the dog park means her seasonal allergies could worsen.
It's just frustrating because you wake up and you've got a runny nose, you're sneezing all the time, and it just doesn't stop.
Fontaine isn't alone dealing with allergies.
It's coming fierce this year. Lots of people are coming with allergies, yeah.
Pharmacist Mohammed Al-Fashawi says he's seeing an uptick in the number of people looking for allergy relief.
The couple of days that we have like strong wind and, all of a sudden it's just pushing everything, the snow mold, the pollens all over the place.
According to a University of Alberta professor, the late start to the spring means trees, weeds, grass, and plants are blooming and pollinating at the same time. Low amounts of precipitation this month is also affecting pollen production. The pharmacist says some might confuse seasonal allergies with a spring cold.
So usually with the allergies, there is like watery, the secretions are like clear and there is no mucus in it, like it's not dark and like not sticky. We have to figure out if you have allergies, you can take over-the-shelf stuff.
He says there are prescription medications available. They could be pills, eye drops, or shots. It could cost $30 and up, less with insurance. Shots require a trip to the allergy clinic to figure out the best concoction before being administered by a pharmacist or doctor.
Injected in the skin, so you get used to the allergies, so your immune system doesn't respond as vigorous and as strong.
For Fontaine, she takes over-the-counter meds.
I just would love not to be taking that, but yeah, this time of year, it is what it is.
Resigned to the fact, for her, allergies go hand in hand with warmer weather. Nariman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
That was a nice day, Josh, and it's pretty warm finally.
Yeah, temperatures into the mid-20s today. It's amazing how quickly things have greened up here in the last little while. Could use a little more moisture. I don't know that we're going to get anything more than some sporadic shower activity here in the Edmonton area. Other parts of the province, though, should see a little better chance at some showers and thunderstorms. We'll get to all that in a couple minutes. 25 degrees currently in Edmonton, 26 at the airports north and south of the city. A little breezier as well at YEG. 27 will go down as the daytime high for today. Way above average. It was 12 degrees this morning. That high of 27 is 8 degrees above average. And we'll be in the same ballpark tomorrow, 26, maybe 27 degrees for a daytime high. In fact, it looks like for most of this work week, we should be in the mid to maybe upper 20s. There's what it looks like outside right now with the CTV drone. Clouds have been in and out through the day today. They were really thick this morning, and then the sun came through, and then they thickened up again this afternoon. You had a few scattered showers for northwestern parts of the city. That's what's moving through the Smoky Lake Vegreville area now. That little system there kind of got going over Edmonton and then really activated further to the north and northeast. Now it looks like just southwest of the city, you might have a little smattering of showers. If you zoom out, though, and there's some clear breaks there off to the southwest. So I don't think we'll see any significant rain tonight. Most of the city should stay dry and partly cloudy skies in order for the overnight period. And for parts of the day tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud. A little gusty in the afternoon, gust to about 20 or 30 kilometers per hour, and again to about 26 or 27 for a daytime high. We'll talk more about that chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms and the heat warning for eastern Alberta in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Josh. Still ahead, culture-specific health care.
There'll be a variety of services, pharmacy, diagnostic imaging.
An update on two major projects on the Enoch Cree Nation, also next.
Things might look good in other areas, but we're really starting to see a major challenge down our way.
A snow-heavy winter works wonders on Alberta water levels, while some farmers are still in for a tough year.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Two major health projects are nearing completion on Enoch Cree Nation just west of Edmonton. Nicole Weisberg gives us a look at the progress and expected benefits.
It's a medical facility like no other, obvious from the outside with a teepee-inspired foyer and historic images from Enoch Cree Nation. Inside, construction is full steam ahead, with about 80 workers on site daily.
Here on the first floor, there'll be a variety of services, pharmacy, diagnostic imaging.
And on the second floor, River Cree Weiss Surgical Care Plus. The chartered surgical facility will have 6 operating rooms. 3 will perform publicly funded surgeries, the other 3 private surgeries.
The point of this facility is not to pull the staff out of the public system, it's to complement the public system. So patients that are having surgery will then come in through this area.
Legally, Enoch Cree residents cannot jump the queue for publicly funded surgeries, but the nation says it can reinvest its revenues to provide private surgical care for its members.
Downstairs, there's a cultural room, which will be available to nation members if they want to use it either during their surgical stay or if their family members want to use it. All staff will be trained on cultural sensitivity, and it will be highlighted in their care delivery.
The nation is financing the project. Medical staff currently working at this Windermere clinic will eventually move in.
We're expecting to be open for the first patient beginning of October.
Deeper in Enoch, another health facility is nearing completion. This one, an addictions recovery center with 75 beds. 35 for women, 35 for men, and 5 detox.
When we look at other recovery communities and their programming, they have their programming built around the Alberta recovery model, but ours is built around culture.
Tyler Morin with the Apiokamik Wellness Branch says that's important because some programs, such as AA, don't necessarily resonate with Indigenous peoples.
If you look at the AA model, it's about giving up your power to a higher power where we already feel powerless because of colonization. We need to come back to our own roots.
At first, the facility will be operated by Edgewood Health Network, a third party, but the goal is for Enoch to eventually take it over.
I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be a major game changer. It's going to be amazing that we can help, hopefully 300 people a year. It's just the start. There's still so much more to be done.
Reporting from Enoch Cree Nation, Nicole Weisberg, CTV News.
Pembina Pipeline is going ahead with a new natural gas processing facility in Alberta. The Heartland Extraction Plant has an estimated cost of about $570 million and an anticipated start date of late 2029. After extraction, the ethane mix will be processed at Dow's Fort Saskatchewan facility and Pembina's Redwater complex. A new water supply outlook on reservoir levels in Alberta shows conditions are on track to be much better than last year. Thanks to heavy snow in the mountains, the Oldman Reservoir has a current capacity of about 97%, about 30% higher than this time last year. The St. Mary Reservoir has an above normal capacity of 96%, while the Waterton Reservoir is 89% full. One exception is the Milk River, which is seeing some of the lowest flows on record. Lower elevations near Montana's Glacier National Park saw the lowest amount of snow in the past 5 years, precipitation that the Milk River relies on. Snow that did fall melted a month early and soaked into the soil before reaching the river.
At this point, we're just hoping for some timely rains again. And this multi-year drought's got to break pretty soon. We really are, things might look good in other areas, but we're really starting to see a major challenge down our way.
Because of entitlements in the Canada-U.S. Boundary Waters Treaty, the water available can only be used by producers south of the river. Canadian irrigators will have to rely on rain. Still ahead, an abundance of bears. A stretch of Alberta highway shut down due to grizzlies. And later, a sign of hope that Edmonton's Alphonso Davies just may hit the pitch on the FIFA World Cup.
Temperatures pretty similar over the next couple of days to what we had today. Mid to times high 20s. And occasionally a few scattered showers, but no real heavy, steady rain until the weekend. Those details after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Abundance of bears has prompted the closure of part of Highway 40 in K Country to hikers and cyclists. The closed section runs from Kananaskis Lakes Trail to Highwood Pass. The province says multiple bears, including breeding pairs, are active in the area. Highway 40 is closed to drivers until June 15th annually. A black bear cub has been relocated after Fish and Wildlife officers tranquilized it in Canmore. RCMP say Saturday the cub had an altercation with a mother elk. The elk chased the cub up a tree where it was tranquilized and then relocated. RCMP say the cub may have attacked a baby elk. They don't know where the mother bear is. Josh, nice and warm, a little scattering of showers here and there maybe?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at your weather apps and you're going, it's going to rain all week?
All week, right?
Like at least half a dozen people asked me today. No, it's not going to rain all week. Just some sporadic showers here and there. Almost every single day has at least a chance, but it's definitely not going to be heavy, steady, all-day rain until maybe Sunday. 25 degrees right now as you look through the Action Furnace River Valley Sky Camp. Action Furnace, fixed radar, it's free. Mixed sun and cloud out there right now. 27 for a high here in Edmonton, Red Deer, and in Lloydminster. 17 in Grand Prairie. You're going to see this difference from west to east consistently over the next 4 or 5 days. It'll be about 10 degrees hotter in the east. Highs near 30. In the west, highs will be closer to 20. We're kind of in between those two systems. So we're not going to get the sunshine and the heat that eastern parts of the province and Saskatchewan will. But we'll be in the mid-20s here for the next 4 days. A little cooler here into the weekend and Monday as you get a good chance of some rain through the weekend. Get to that in a second. Here's your heat warning. Lloydminster, Vermilion, all the way south. Wainwright, Coronation, down through to Medicine Hat, areas east of Calgary. Not only are daytime highs going to be up around 30 or in the 30s, but overnight, temperatures are going to be about 12 to 16 degrees. So you're not going to get any relief through the overnight periods. Tomorrow morning in through east central Alberta is going to be one of the mildest, coolest mornings you're going to see for a while. There's the core of the heat in the pink zone here. Southeastern Alberta, southern portions of Saskatchewan. And here in Edmonton, back further to the west, I mean, it's not that it's cold. It's just not as hot as it will be further to the east, where they are under a nice big upper ridge. And so you can see this. Look at that spin right there. You have two systems at play here. One, the upper low, and then the upper ridge that's anchored over Saskatchewan. So at the edge of that, in between those two systems, you get these scattered showers that occasionally are going to roll through from south to north and ripple almost right along the jet stream there. This ridge is going to basically remain in place. It's not going to back up to the west, so we will see mixed sun and cloud as opposed to mainly sunny skies. Occasionally we'll get some showers, although it looks like this one for tomorrow morning, most of that's probably going to be west of the city. There's a slight chance of maybe a few sprinkles tomorrow morning. Mostly cloudy to start. We'll get some sunny breaks in the afternoon. You might see a couple thunderstorms bubble up here and there across the province through tomorrow afternoon. And then Wednesday morning, there's a chance of showers again and mostly cloudy skies in the Edmonton area. But again, the best chance is going to be further to the west. And so maybe late Wednesday evening on the tail end of that system there, maybe that gives us some scattered showers or thunderstorms. It's definitely not 5 straight days of rain, though. 23 in Fort McMurray, 17 Grand Prairie. It's 27 in Red Deer, and we've dropped to 25 after hitting 27 earlier today. We'll still be in the 20s up to about 9, 10 o'clock tonight. 12 degrees tomorrow morning. About 26, maybe 27 tomorrow afternoon. Mixed sun and cloud, and slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm early tomorrow evening. Again, hit and miss showers potentially every single day, but not necessarily all day.
Thanks, Josh. Stay with us. Still ahead, South Korea's submarine sales pitch.
It's kind of like buying a brand new Tesla, and then you're coming out of a 99 Honda Civic.
Canada getting ready to buy with a $25 billion budget and...
Over this 4-month stretch, thanks to Enhanced that I made after I medaled at the Olympic Games.
The inaugural Enhanced Games, top athletes fueled by performance boosters, banned in regular competition.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by Alberta iGaming Corporation. For integrity, for fun, for Alberta.
A Korean submarine sailed into Victoria over the weekend for a joint military exercise with the Canadian Navy. The sub is also on a mission to woo Canadian buyers with a historic armed forces procurement decision looming. CTV's Adrian Gabriel reports.
Cutting through Canadian coastal waters, the arrival of the Republic of Korea's Navy is promising to usher in a new era of middle power might and cohesion in protecting the open seas.
Be safe! Yeah! What really hits home is that Canada needs new submarines.
The Republic of Korea Navy arrived at CFB Esquimalt this weekend on board its KSS-3 submarine. A bid is in place for Canada to purchase 12 of these South Korean-made subs. The only other finalist vying to deliver Canada's next-generation submarine is a joint German-Norwegian bid. Ottawa will announce the winner of the contract this summer, which could come with a price tag of $25 billion. Korean Navy gave CTV News a tour inside the submarine that could be the centerpiece of Canada's naval future. We were forbidden from taking any of our own video inside. Korean Navy provided footage shows their crew in action. The submarine is more spacious inside than Canada's aging fleet, with the capability to deploy both anti-ship and land attack cruise missiles.
I just want to say thank you.
2 Canadian submariners traveled with the Korean Navy for part of the journey to Canada. When asked to compare the difference between the current Korean sub to Canada's aging fleet, they didn't mince words.
It's kind of like buying a brand new Tesla, and then you're coming out of a 99 Honda Civic.
The Canadian Navy's 4 Victoria-class subs were first built in the 1980s. Only one is currently operational.
You have 3 oceans to patrol. How difficult does that make your job?
I do not have enough ships to patrol and to protect Canada like we should, which is why we're investing.
Currently, the Canadian Navy has approximately 200 submariners. They will need at least 1,000 strong to operate a fleet of 12 submarines.
With a decision expected as early as this June, whoever is chosen to deliver Canada's next generation submarine is poised to play an integral role in shaping the country's Navy for decades to come. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, CFB Esquimalt.
Canada is accusing Israel of violating the Vienna Convention over mistreatment of Canadian activists. 12 Canadians were among hundreds of people detained by Israel earlier this month. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister says she heard from officials about appalling abuse suffered by the detainees. Anita Anand told Israel's foreign minister today denying Canadian citizens access to consular services while detained must never happen again. She says Canada is providing Israeli authorities with evidence of the mistreatment, and Ottawa has asked for and expects an independent investigation. Israel says it will continue to act in full accordance with international law. The findings of a CTV W5 investigation came up in the House of Commons today. Revelations of security gaps at Canada's major airports allowing illegal drugs to flow into the country. CTV's Graham Richardson reports.
It is a chilling, organized scheme uncovered by CTV's W5.
They opened up the bag. It was stuffed full of drugs.
Tags switched on checked bags, unwitting Canadians' luggage tags used to carry drugs in different bags, smuggled into the airport by corrupt employees.
You're all being detained for transporting narcotics.
The W5 investigation raised in the House of Commons Monday by the opposition.
I walk out through the terminal doors, nobody checks you. That's from a W5 investigation exposing organized crime using travelers' baggage to traffic drugs through Pearson Airport. Given the transport minister's silence on this brazen security failure, if the Liberals won't be taking this seriously now, why would Canadians believe they ever will with our security?
At least 6 arrests related to luggage tag swapping have been made by the RCMP. We continue to invest in law enforcement, Mr. Speaker.
This story has gone viral nationally and internationally, not only because of how many cases W5 uncovered, 17, but also because of the simple questions it raised. As passengers take off their shoes and belts and hand over water bottles at security, why aren't employees scrutinized?
We joke you could walk out carrying a cruise missile, end quote.
And it's not just Canada. These women from Brazil detained in Germany for over a month. Their bags were switched and caught on camera. They were blamed for carrying drugs. This video eventually freed them. One of the most challenging parts about this is how vulnerable passengers are when they check their bags. Because of this investigation, many of them will now look much more closely when they arrive. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Ottawa.
After speculation about his status, Alphonso Davies is among the 32 players on Team Canada's training camp roster ahead of the World Cup. It's unclear if the Edmonton native will be healthy enough to start the tournament. Canada Soccer suggests Davies may not make it to the actual training camp in Charlotte, North Carolina. He may stay in Germany to rehab with his club team Bayern Munich. Even if he were to miss the camp, he could still participate in the World Cup. No word yet on whether he'll take part in a friendly match next Monday here in Edmonton between Team Canada and Uzbekistan. A new sporting event was held this weekend in Las Vegas, the inaugural The Enhanced Games, where performance-enhancing drugs are allowed. ABC's Sophie Flate reports.
It's being called the Olympics on steroids.
Strength will be measured. Speed will be tested.
42 world-class athletes, some of them former Olympians, competed in the Enhanced Games in Las Vegas. While the Olympics go to great lengths to ensure performance-enhancing drugs don't poison the competition, the Enhanced Games encourage them. According to a new survey of most of the athletes, 91% used testosterone, 79% used human growth hormone, and 29% used anabolic steroids. Critics quick to condemn the event. The president of World Athletics saying no one within athletics takes the Enhanced Games seriously. And medical professionals warn of the many serious long-term health risks posed by PEDs. But athletes claim the money offered by the Enhanced Games was too good to pass up. Winners of each event walked away with $250,000.
He was telling me, why would I go back to the Olympics? If I go back to the Olympics, I'd be taking a pay cut. He said, I am making more over this 4-month stretch thanks to Enhanced than I made after I medaled at the Olympic Games.
And breaking a world record results in $1 million payday.
We have our first world record.
A Greek swimmer broke the record in the 50-meter freestyle. But Thorbjorn's son, better known as the Mountain from Game of Thrones, failed to break a world record he set last year in the deadlift. The company behind the event, financially backed by Donald Trump Jr.'s venture capital firm and tech billionaire Peter Thiel, is using the games to boost its business selling supplements, including peptides, which experts warn have an unproven safety record. The event organizers say any enhancements had to be FDA approved and prescribed by licensed physicians.
Work is underway at the White House on a temporary arena that will host a UFC event next month. Today, workers could be seen putting together part of an apparent lighting structure. The arena is expected to hold 5,000 people for the event by invitation only. UFC plans to give away another 85,000 tickets for outdoor viewing. Freedom Fights 250 will take place June 14th. That's President Trump's 80th birthday. Still ahead, hands-on history.
So everything from sort of that indigenous pre-contact, several thousand-year-old use.
Archaeology students getting a chance to get their hands dirty as they dig up parts of the province's past. And there's a live look from the CTV drone over Horilac Park, a newly renovated, updated recreation space for Edmontonians, closed for a couple of years, now open and welcoming visitors once again. Stay with us. Looking at today's market numbers, the Canadian dollar staying near 72 cents U.S. There are no price settlements for oil and gold due to the Memorial Day holiday in the United States. On the stock market, the TSX gained 329 points. The U.S. stock markets were closed for the holiday. In a new campaign, Tim Hortons says it wants to hire more Canadians. The company says the number of temporary foreign workers at its restaurants has been declining since 2024. It says it no longer needs to rely on foreign workers amidst high youth unemployment. The coffee chain is looking to hire 10,000 new workers. The hiring announcement comes days after Tim said it will expand by 80 restaurants in Canada. The federal Conservatives are renewing calls for Ottawa to abolish the temporary foreign worker program and bring in something new.
What we've been pushing the government for is better labor mobility strategies, skills training to match and make it easy to facilitate Canadians to move to where the jobs are, right? So we need that type of work, number one. And number two, that's why we're calling for the abolition of the temporary foreign worker program and replace it with a standalone program for seasonal agricultural labor that's legitimately hard to fill.
The Conservatives have been calling to scrap the TFW program for months. That party says eliminating it could help address the unemployment situation in Canada. Alberta archaeology students, along with volunteers, are getting the chance to work with professionals at a dig site. It's part of the University of Calgary's Archaeological Field School. As CTV's Kevin Fleming reports, this year's site was used by Indigenous hunters more than 2,000 years ago.
She's one of the volunteers here getting her hands dirty, and Melissa Muse uses a small shovel to break through roots so she can uncover what may be hiding in the soil beneath.
I just love that it's such a unique opportunity to connect with the land, learn a little bit about archaeology and what is going on down here, and try something new.
The Archaeology Field Program is hosted by the City and University of Calgary for students and volunteers. Before the team chooses this spot, they dig a series of test sites down 90 centimeters to see if it's worth it. And it is, after discovering the tip of a projectile point.
It's what we call a bracken point. So it is something that dates roughly between 2,100 and 2,800 years ago.
Laurentine Saddleback is an archaeology student in her final year and excited at the prospect of finding artifacts her ancestors would have used, like this pre-contact knife made from stone.
On a personal level, it feels really good knowing that I'm here as an Indigenous student finding our own people's artifacts, our stone tools, what we use to, skin buffalo. It's pretty cool.
Lorene Bryant is sifting through the dirt from the excavation plots to look for any treasures.
When we think of the conservation cycle, if people are aware of things, if people care about things, they're more likely to protect them.
And I think too often folks kind of don't realize how much history Calgary have and how many thousands of years this place was used for, right?
The dig is also uncovering artifacts from Thomas Edworthy, who settled here, along with an industrial brickmaking facility that's well over 100 years old. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
LEGO fans checked out hundreds of unique sets and builds in Edmonton over the weekend. This year's LEGO Fan Convention took place at the Alberta Aviation Museum. Northern Bricks had to move to a larger space because of the number of adults taking an interest in the hobby. One organizer brought her own Harry Potter creation that took 16 hours to build. She believes LEGO is growing in popularity because it appeals to all ages.
I mean, you can start as a little one with Duplo, and I'm going to advise people don't get rid of the Duplo because you can use that later when you're building your big sets to, as you get a little older, and even to those plus 100s now. So it's definitely meant to span the generations. And the really cool thing about that is, as an adult, you can build with your kids, you can build with your seniors as well.
This was the convention's third year in Edmonton. Still ahead, the latest high-stakes face-off between Canada and the U.S.
We all love competition, but we all get along well.
The international battle on the shuffleboard taking place just outside our city. Stay with us.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV. Programming brought to you by Green Tree Outdoor Living, where your dream yard becomes a reality.
A battle is underway between Canada and the United States on the shuffleboard court. While the competition is fierce, the players hope the tournament will attract new players of all ages. Amanda Anderson has the story.
Vicki Seiler is focused as she slides her disc across the shuffleboard court, a game she's been playing for more than a decade.
I used to curl, and when we went south, I couldn't curl anymore. So to me, shuffle is similar to curling. I mean, not there, but you have to have your weight, you have to have strategy.
She's among the top players in Canada, facing off against the best from the U.S. at the inaugural Can-Am Shuffleboard Court Tournament.
This is the first tournament we've ever had of this way. It's actually 40 of the top American players playing 40 of the top Canadian players.
Canada has players from Alberta, Manitoba, Ontario, and BC. Wally Bent says there's a noticeable difference between the teams.
The U.S. team seems to have a lot of younger players. More of our teams are seniors.
They hope the tournament will attract new, younger players. Mark Bender, here from the Tampa, Florida area, says many bars in the U.S. offer shuffleboard courts.
We found a lot of the places where we'll have like night tournaments or night leagues. You can get much younger crowd. It's difficult during the weekdays to get the working crew in, but when we have league at night, it makes it a lot easier.
The stakes at this competition are high, with not only medals up for grabs, but bragging rights.
We all love competition, but we all get along well.
The big thing about this is the camaraderie that's around here. I've never heard so much laughter and voices talking and everything. It's just beautiful.
While the U.S. may have youth on its side, many will tell you Canada makes up in wisdom.
There's definitely some wisdom there, and the home court advantage, right? So these courts are a lot different than what we play on, especially in the bars. Sometimes those courts are a little bit slower. There's been beer spilled on the courts, and so it's a different game for sure.
Games will continue throughout the week, leading up to the finals on Friday.
Great shot.
Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Beaumont.
Yeah, it was a warm one today. It'll be another warm one tomorrow. We'll be in the mid to maybe even high 20s here for the next 4 days. Average daytime high is 20, so a handful of degrees above average right through to Friday. Chance of some scattered showers or thunderstorms. Most of the daytime hours, though, for the next 4 days, dry. I think the best chance of some rain, like real legit rain, not just showers, that would be Sunday. Maybe as early as Saturday night, but through the day Sunday, could actually see some quite heavy, steady rain in parts of central and north central Alberta. So fingers crossed. For some areas, it is awfully dry. And, we could use some of that rain.
All right. Thanks, Josh. And thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, check out our website.